would you do if someone tried to break your will before they even gave you a chance to fight? Not with weapons, not with violence, but with words, sharp, calculated, meant to shake the ground beneath your feet and make you question everything you stand for. Because that's exactly what happened when Donald Trump didn't just speak. He declared war without firing a single shot. When he said those chilling words, that he was ready to kill Iran's supreme leader, Ali Khamenei, and demanded unconditional surrender, he wasn't just sending a message to a nation. He was testing the limits of human resolve, of pride, of identity. And in that moment, something deeper than politics was at play, something raw, something ancient, fear. The kind of fear that doesn't just live in our minds but in our bones, the kind that makes your chest tighten, your breath shallow, your instincts scream at you to run, or stand your ground. Because let's be honest, when someone threatens to erase you, not just your position but your very existence, it hits differently. It isn't just about power anymore. It's about survival, about dignity, about whether you're going to bow or burn. But here's what most people don't understand about fear. It's not always a weapon of control. Sometimes it becomes the spark that lights resistance. Think about every revolution in history, every uprising, every time a group of people rose up against impossible odds. They weren't fearless. They were terrified. But somewhere inside them, fear transformed into fuel, into fire, into the kind of strength that changes the world. Because deep down, we are wired to resist domination. Psychologists call it reactance. The more someone tries to force your hand, the stronger your need to pull away, to say no, to say I am still here, I am still me. So when a leader is targeted like this, not just politically but personally, it doesn't just send shockwaves through government halls, it ripples across an entire population, because leaders are symbols. They represent more than themselves. They carry the weight of identity, belief, history. And when one man is told to kneel, millions hear the echo. This wasn't just a threat, it was a test of how far you can push someone before they stop retreating. A test of whether fear can silence courage, or whether courage will rise louder and prouder than ever. And what happened next? Did the voice of Iran fall silent? Did the streets empty out in fear? No. Instead, something else happened. Pride stood taller, voices grew louder, resolve hardened. Because when you threaten someone's leader, you don't just challenge their leadership, you awaken their collective spirit. You remind them who they are, and once that happens, there's no turning back. You see, real strength doesn't come from being untouched by fear. It comes from facing it head-on, from refusing to let someone else define your worth, from standing tall when the world wants you on your knees. That's what this moment reveals. Not just about nations, but about people. About us. About the moments in our own lives when we've been backed into a corner, when someone told us we couldn't, when the pressure came down hard and we had to decide, collapse or rise. Because the truth is, we all face threats, not always literal ones, but emotional ones, financial ones, psychological ones. Moments where someone, or something, tries to strip us of our confidence, our dreams, our sense of control. And in those moments we have a choice. We can let the fear win. We can retreat, play small, let someone else write our story, or we can use that fear as fuel. Because fear, when harnessed, becomes focus. It becomes clarity. It strips away the noise and shows you what truly matters, what you're willing to fight for, what you're unwilling to lose. And that's exactly what happened here. This wasn't just about politics, it was about the human condition, about what happens when pressure meets purpose, about how fear, when met with defiance, turns into something unstoppable. So ask yourself, what are you afraid of right now? Is it failure, rejection, the unknown, the idea that maybe you're not strong enough to keep going? Let me tell you something. Strength isn't something you're born with, it's something you build, in the quiet moments, in the decisions you make when no one's watching, in the way you choose to respond when life throws its worst at you. Because courage doesn't mean the absence of fear. It means moving forward anyway. And that's the real lesson here. Not about who's right or wrong in global politics, but about what happens inside each of us when we're pushed too far. About how sometimes it takes a threat, a real, undeniable one, to remind us of who we really are. It reminds us that we are not defined by what others say we can't do. We are defined by what we refuse to give up on, by the battles we choose to fight, not because we're fearless, but because we know what's worth standing for. So if you're watching this right now, and you feel like you've been backed into a corner, if you feel like the world is trying to silence you, remember this moment. Remember that fear is not your enemy, it's your signal. It's telling you that something inside you still burns, that you still care, that you still believe in something greater than the pain, the pressure, the setbacks. And that's powerful, more powerful than any threat, more powerful than any demand for surrender, because surrender is easy. Standing your ground, that takes everything. And if you choose to do it, if you choose to rise, to resist, to rebuild, then you're not just fighting for yourself. You're carrying the same fire that has lit revolutions, that has changed nations, that has rewritten destinies. And that fire, it starts with one decision: to stop backing down, to stop listening to the voices that want you small, to stop believing that fear is the end of the story, because it's not, it's the beginning. And if you stay until the end of this video, you'll understand why. Not just what happened, but what it means for you, for your life, for your future. Because this isn't just about a political moment, it's about the moment you decide to become unbreakable, because standing your ground is only the beginning. The real question is,